Hello and welcome. Just setting off again. Sorry, I lost the feed there, so this is a new feed. Really sorry about that. Driving along, minding my own business. I think my phone might have overheated, but basically it said to me, "What are you doing? You crazy fool, Graham." And it told me that my SIM card was no longer recognised, so couldn't recognise my SIM card. It's not optimal. Okay, right then. Let's get back on the motorway. Keep right. To the right. Okay, that's a bit of a funny one. This. Oh, a couple of police on bikes there. Very interesting. This is really confusing junction. Okay, hi again, David. Listen, if the feed goes off, it's usually a technical problem, and in that case, come on, change gear. Come on, you make me look bad. Change gear. Okay, so change gear. Do you like me wall? I made it special. So yeah, there's a technical problem. Like I had to take the SIM card out, put it back in again. So that's something I can't do while I'm driving. That'd be very illegal. Sending a text message. So we're now on 7 hours and 54 minutes. I think that's it. I think it's got a longer duration now than it did before. Maybe there's some traffic jams up ahead. But that's it. I should get in about 9 o'clock. I was hoping to take 4 half-hour breaks. Might only be able to take 2 at this race. I don't want to get in too late. I don't want to be getting in at midnight because it's a bit unfair on Marina and her husband and her kids. And yeah, I'll probably be asleep, but still, don't want to be getting in too late. Yeah, I had a nice little sleep this morning in this van. Kieran does not understand how I can possibly sleep in a sitting up position. But as I explained to him, it's my shit X-Men power. Basically, I can sleep anywhere in ridiculous circumstances. When all the other X-Men are fighting Magneto, when the Avengers are bringing Thanos to his knees, I'd just be having a snooze in the corner. What's your mutant power, Graham? I can fall asleep. That's not very useful. Yeah, I know it's not. There's a great movie from the 90s called Mystery Men. It's got Ben Stiller in it and Red Kinnear, I think he's in it as well. And Janine Garofalo and William H. Macy is in it. It's really good. Anyway, it's about superheroes with crap superpowers. And in it, Ben Stiller plays a guy called something like Mr. Furious, and his superpower is he gets really angry about stuff. Still makes me laugh. That's a guy who thinks he's invisible. He's not. Hello. Kiss to wake you up. Oh, thank you, David. Thank you. Oh dear. Is that car broken down or is it just skidded off the road? It's not good. Audi there on this side of the road. A little bit worse for wear. So we're heading next to Neville. Abergavenny. So on my helpful Google Maps on my other phone, it's got 7 hours, 51 minutes, and then it's got like a cloud with a line going through it. I don't even know what that means. It's not cloudy. What does that mean? What does that even mean? I like numbers, searching friends. I like numbers too. The registration number of the Planet Express spaceship in Futurama is the lowest possible square number you can get from the sum of two squares. From the square of two squares. New girl in my local supermarket. Excellent. Belfast. Lovely Belfast. I really need to stop doing an Irish accent or Northern Irish accent when people mention Ireland in any way. It's such a you couldn't really get away with it for many other places, could you? I suppose to do a Southern American accent if someone mentions somewhere in the deep south of America. If you tap on that cloud, it will start syncing to that folder. Google Photos and icon will change to blue with a white up arrow. Okay. It will sync that specific folder to Google Photos. Well, that's really interesting. I thought it was just going to give me like a weather update or something, but it's not connected to the cloud. It's the other phone. It's bare phone. I usually just use a microphone not to record sound when I'm doing like a Three Blokes in a Pub podcast or whatever. So the other thing in the news this week was, Kieran. Kieran was on the James O'Brien show on Tuesday, and he also appeared in an article in The Guardian yesterday talking about the massive queues of lorries at Dover, going all the way through Kent, all the way through big, beautiful Brexity Kent. And some of these people have been stuck in their lorries for days now. And there's no toilet facilities been made available. So where do you think they're going? Yeah, side of the road. Yeah. Basically, Brexit has turned the Garden of England into the cesspit of England. That's nice. I think Kent has always strived to be a cesspit, and I'm glad that Brexit has actually achieved something, because Brexit hasn't achieved very much, many positive things, but at least Kent people now have the faint aroma of human feces wherever they go, if it's anywhere in any kind of distance from the M20. So that's nice for them. That's nice for the Brexit voting people of Kent. It's a little bit shit for the Remain voting people of Kent. I'm very sorry to them. I feel awful that this has happened to them and it's been foisted upon them. But I must take some of the blame for the Brexit vote personally and as a country, because, emphasis on the first syllable there, because we voted for it. England voted for it. Wales voted for it. Wales. What the hell, mate? Seriously. That's what 1,000 years of subjugation will do to you. Anyway, so yeah. Oh my God. But Scotland and Northern Ireland resolutely did not vote to leave the EU. In fact, Scotland voted over 60% not to leave the EU, and it's been forced to against its will, and it's destroyed livelihoods of Scottish farmers and Scottish fisherfolk. Some of you voted for it. They didn't see that coming. I did, and I'm not a fisherfolk. Wasn't really complicated. You have trade, you have free trade. You put barriers up. There's 192 other members of the United Nations to choose from. Please, have a nice day, dickheads. So yeah, big problem there. Wondering whether to stop for a coffee break in a bit. What time is it now? It's only going to be driving for about an hour. If that. So maybe I'll wait till I get to Netherlands and I'll pull over. I'll fill up the tank. Only probably half fill it. And then press on through Germany. See how far through Germany I can get on one tank. This is a petrol. So although petrol is cheaper, it doesn't go as far. I am 57 miles from Brussels. I guess, and I'm going to give it a guess, a red hot guess here, that I should keep the live stream going. Sorry, miles? It's kilometers, 57 kilometers to Brussels. As I bypass Brussels, because that's the name I gave this video. So very technical. It was embarrassing this morning, like proper embarrassing. It took me about half an hour to put on feed on my website. You know, that's like one of the easy things to do, but Elementor doesn't have a way of doing it. I had to download a third-party plugin in order to put it on the UK4UKR website, which is not optimal. I keep saying that's not optimal. Something else that's not optimal is Will Smith has been banned from the Oscars for 10 years. There you go. Banner Rooney. Does he get to keep his Oscar? That's the question. I think he does. Should he? Don't know. Is it a bit of an overreaction? Yes. Did Chris Rock deserve a bit of a slap? Maybe. Arguable. But, you know, it was a joke. It was a joke. It was a cruel joke. A bit close to the bone. Yeah. But, yeah, overreaction. Okay, I'm a bit torn on it. I don't really care either way, to be honest with you. The other thing that came out this week is that the government, under Nadine Dorries, who is the thickest entity in the universe, she's so dense, she bends light. She's so dense that light cannot escape. She takes her face off, and there's just like a black hole underneath. Like Laura Palmer's mum in Twin Peaks. Anyway, she's going to privatise Channel 4. She thinks that it's paid for by the taxpayers. It's not. Do you know what is paid for by the taxpayers? Rishi Sunak's wife's lavish lifestyle, for which she does pay no tax. No income tax. She's a non-dom. No income tax on anything that she earns in other countries. All that lovely juicy money is brought to our country by the Chancellor's wife. I mean, they're changing things now. But the other thing that is remarkable is that she is still an Indian citizen, even though she lived here for many years. And as a result of that, her horrible little crotch spawn, her womb nuggets, her snatch goblins will, her children, will not have to pay inheritance tax on the estimated £800 million fortune that she will pass on to them when she carks it, which is nothing new for the rich. The rich don't pay tax. As we all know, the Duke of Westminster, he carked it a few years ago, left him £11 billion, £11 billion to his son and heir, who got the lot, didn't pay any inheritance tax, as far as I'm aware, allegedly, which is nice. It's just what rich folk do, said some dickhead in Rishi Sunak's constituency. Doff cap, took forelock. Right you are, sir. How did we get here? How did the the British people lose their agency? How did they lose their ability to stand up for themselves? When did they become so weak, morally impoverished, so reluctant to actually stand up and make a difference? Reduced to this pathetic cretin on the internet, trolling people for being from another country, or trolling people for being gay, or trolling people for being trans, just trolling people for being woke lefties, for caring about the environment, for caring about the next generation. How dare they? How very dare they? For wanting young people to be able to get on the housing ladder, for wanting the best in our societies and our communities. How dare they? So instead of actually getting up and doing anything, getting off their arses and actually making things happen, they just sit there going, that's a bit shit. I don't like this. I don't like this. It should be cancelled. So the cancel culture began actually cancelling Channel 4. They're going to privatise Channel 4. Something that just makes money for the taxpayer. That's all it does. They're going to cancel it. And who is the government going to sell it to? I'll hazard a guess. It's going to be Rupert Murdoch, guys. It's going to be Rupert Murdoch. The man this week was named as the most evil man in the world by no less than, but also Joe Biden, the Prime Minister, of the United States. Dude. Oh, so yeah, it's just really sad how my country has fallen, and I've got to take some responsibility for that. I perhaps wasn't as strident as I should have been. I didn't make much of a fuss about the EU referendum. I didn't understand at the time as much about the EU, I'll admit that. And also, I didn't know how much underhanded scheming was going on between the Russian government, Kremlin, KGB, or whatever it's calling itself these days, GRU, the FSB. They were doing dealings with the likes of Aaron Banks, Nigel Farage, Boris Johnson, Michael Gove, Daniel Hannan, all these dodgy little motherfuckers. I didn't know that. I didn't know that was going on. I thought it was a free and fair vote. All the newspaper owners, like Murdoch, the most evil man in the world, the official most evil man in the world. God, and that guy cards it with setting up a Dance Dance Revolution machine on his grave, man. Just so we can just go and a toilet, a nice flushing toilet. So we can sit there, take a dump on his grave while reading a copy of the Mirror. I don't know, something like that. But what an absolute bloody scumbag. So yesterday I had the misfortune of having to fill up at a BP garage. I didn't want to, but I'd gone past a number of garages up to that point, and the fuel light was about to come on. I tried to never drive until the fuel light comes on, so I see that as a bit irresponsible. And I don't even know if the fuel light works on this. So I was like, well, I've got to stop and get fuel. The reason why I don't like going to BP, first of all, they're evil. Secondly, they're evil. And thirdly, they offer you a free copy of the Sun newspaper when you buy fuel off them. They did that in Liverpool, but they do that in other parts of the country. So yesterday, I was on my way to York, pulled over off the A1M, and I said, no. I said, do you want a copy of the Sun? And I said, I'm from Liverpool. I'd rather eat a bowl of teeth, which made the people in the queue laugh. But seriously, oh my God, the Sun? It's actually quite insulting. It's insulting to ask people if they want that. I mean, obviously, there's a magnitude of difference to this, right? And I don't think that I'm belittling the Holocaust or anything like that. I'm really not. But to asking someone from Liverpool if they would like a free copy of the Sun is kind of analogous to, well, obviously this would be much worse. But it's kind of analogous to asking a Jewish person if they'd like a free copy of Mein Kampf. That's how much we despise the Sun in Liverpool. The Sun, which accused our brothers and sisters from our city of killing themselves at Hillsborough, of drinking, of urinating on the emergency services, on urinating on the dead, of stealing the wallets of the dead. This is what the Sun newspaper said we did. And it can go itself in every possible conceivable orifice, because to be asked if I want a free copy, I'm sorry, that is just beyond the pale. That is absolutely beyond the pale. So BP, anyone with BP is watching this, I'm sure you know. I will never, ever, ever buy fuel from you ever again. I didn't want to buy fuel from you that time, just in case you were still doing that promotion. But way to get people not to buy fuel off you, mate. Or at least the 450,000 people who live in Liverpool, they're not going to buy fuel off you, mate. You're literally alienating an entire city. That Murdoch rag. The publication of the most evil man in the world right now. Obviously, Hitler was more evil, but he's dead. You see, he's gone. He's kaput. Did the world a favour. Put a bullet in his head in his little bunker in Berlin. Now, at the moment, there's a little man who looks like Dobby the house elf. Got it on with Voldemort. Called Vladimir Putin. And he's living in a little bunker in the Ural Mountains, apparently. Right on the edge of Europe. Maybe he might have the same idea. That would be nice. That would be very nice. If you're watching, Vlad, please do that. Please literally do that. That would be great. Take the Hitler way out. Because I can't see any other way this conflict's going to end. I think this is going to become another Afghanistan, another Vietnam. It's just going to drag on for years without end. Ukraine's never going to give up. It's never going to say, oh, it's all right, yeah, Russia, you can have half our country. We didn't want it anyway. There's been some talk of Russia running out of natural resources in 10 years. It's only got enough oil for 10 years, so that's why it's exploring the Arctic. And also possibly trying to accelerate climate change, so there's more areas that they can actually get through to in the Arctic to set up oil platforms in the sea without it freezing over. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, and Russia's not alone in that. The oil companies are doing that as well. The oil companies have been doing that since 1979. In fact, my entire lifetime, so 43 years, the oil companies they've known about climate change. They've known that digging carbon out the ground, burning it, and then throwing it up in the atmosphere, whoosh, then it floats up there. It's causing a greenhouse effect. So that's what CO2 does. Causes a greenhouse effect, traps in heat. They've used that information not to help save the planet, but to help make their shareholders more money, give their directors even bigger dividends. And when in the 1960s, the difference between the CEO of a company and an employee was something like the CEO got something like 10 times the wage of an employee, it's now over 300 times the wage of an employee. That's how far we've gone down the rabbit hole of insane capitalism. Unbridled capitalism. Capitalism unleashed, like a monster from the deep. It just goes around stomping on children. So I'm trying to think about what else happened this week. I covered it all. Queues at Dover. Will Smith getting banned from Oscars. Oscars party. Can he still be nominated? Vladimir Putin's war crimes in Ukraine being uncovered. His terrorist thugs, so-called army of terrorists, many of whom are from Syria. Do you know what that makes them? Islamic terrorists. So let me get this straight. Vladimir Putin, the dictator of Russia, is paying Islamic terrorists to come to Europe and murder Europeans, burn them alive, and rape them in front of their children. Vladimir Putin is paying for that, and he's paying for it out of your energy bills, which are gone for the roof. See, this is where you got to take a step back and go, is this really happening? Bowie dies, Brexit, Trump, COVID, Ukraine war. Just can the bad stuff stop? Can the bad stuff stop? And over the top of all of this is the ever-present spectre, the existential threat to humanity that is climate change. We're not going to sink under the water. We're not going to die because it's too hot necessarily. We're going to die because we haven't got enough food. There's too many displaced people who had to move from their homes because they got covered in water. In the same way that most of the people who die in a nuclear war won't die fallout, they'll die of starvation. And it all comes down to something that the Tory government and the Russians and the Russian government are absolutely effing terrible at. It comes down to logistics. And neither of them would be able to operate a logistical chain if their lives depended on it. I kind of wish their lives did depend on it, but it doesn't because they're dead rich, so they'll be the last to die. They'll just sail around the world on their yachts, eating irradiated fish. And the working class Tory voter will say, God bless them. You know? They only don't kill them out. If anyone can sing, I'm going to rewrite the lyrics to Working Class Hero by John Lennon. It's going to be called Working Class Tory. Working class Tory is something to be. And I'm gonna make that a song on YouTube. If anyone can play the guitar and sing, get in touch. I was like weird Al Yankovic taking a song and then changing the lyrics for it. Like when he did Pretty Fly for a Rabbi, and he did The Story Begins, didn't he, which was American Pie. About Anakin Skywalker. And Eat It instead of Eat. Oh, there's loads of boss songs. Love a bit of Weird Al. Take a song that exists, change the lyrics, make it funny. It's a great formula, and he's very good at it. My favourite one is the one that he did. He did a cover of Lord's Royal, song Royal, and he called it Foil, and it's all about wearing a tinfoil hat and believing lots of crazy conspiracy theories. It's all a big conspiracy. Two questions you got to ask with any conspiracy theory. Is it plausible that it can be kept a secret? And what's the motive? If you don't have a good answer for either of those, for both of those questions, then it's bullshit. Sorry, it's just bullshit. What's the motive? Well, they're trying to make us afraid of things. Okay. Is that why you believe everything that Boris Johnson tells you and I don't? They're trying to get rid of us. They're trying to kill off all the people who question stuff. That's why they got vaccines. So, hang on, but that would just kill off the people who don't question stuff. Your plan is to get rid of people who question stuff. Vaccines aren't the way to do it. If your plan is to get rid of idiots, an anti-vax campaign is a really good way of doing it. Almost embarrassing the number of people who vote for the Republican Party in America who have died of COVID-19 because they didn't get a vaccine. And I spoke about this the other day, but there was a really good video, I think it was Fox, and it was about why are so many Republican voters dying of COVID. And they pointed out the fact that vaccination rates, by and large, were usually about the same for Democrat voters and for Republican voters up to COVID. And then when COVID came along, there were two big problems. First of all, you had a president who kept on saying that it would magically go away, which was obviously, transparent bullshit. And also, this is the other point, I thought they made it really well. They got a whiteboard, and on the left, they split it in half with a magic marker, and on the left, they wrote Democrats. These are the news sources that over 40% of Democrat voters trust. Okay, so on the list were CNN, ABC News, BBC, Washington Post, New York Times, lots of different news, MSNBC, Press Association, Reuters, and then on the right-hand side was news outlets or news providers that 40% of Republican voters trusted. And there was just one news source, one, and you'll never guess what it was. It was the one that's owned by the most evil man in the world. Yes, Fox News. Phone News, as I like to call it. So good old Fox News with Tucker Carlson, who was very angry about us wet liberals getting all upset about the invasion of a literal country by a madman in Europe. What we should have said is, oh, thanks for that, lad. Yeah, thanks for invading one of our countries in Europe. We needed that because people were just getting on with their lives, and that's a terrible thing. You need to stop people just getting on with their lives at all costs. And you've got to understand as well, like people go, well, what about this war? What about that war? The motivations were very different in different wars. Not that the Iraq war was a good idea, it certainly was not, but the motivation wasn't necessarily for Iraq to become part of America. Maybe they wanted to sell some burgers. Seems like a bit of a daft marketing plan to me. If you spent $1 trillion on a war to sell burgers to people with no money because their homes have been destroyed by the said war, but whatever, question mark, question mark, question mark, profit. But when it comes to a country, one country invading one other country, its neighbour, we haven't really seen much of that, not in my lifetime. We saw it in Afghanistan when the Soviet Union invaded, because the Soviet Union's borders in Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, they border up to Afghanistan. Yeah. Obviously, the first Iraq war, when Saddam Hussein invaded his neighbor, invaded Kuwait. I can't think of any others. I'm trying to now. The invasion of West Papua, the invasion of East Timor by Indonesia happened before I was born. So as you could argue Israel, Palestine, yeah, argue for that. But obviously that creates a lot of consternation around the world. What Saudi Arabia is doing in Yemen, yeah, I'll take that one. But generally speaking, most of the conflicts that have existed while I have existed on this planet have been civil conflicts, especially in Africa, which may have spilled out over the borders. In fact, the war in Sierra Leone, the famous Blood Diamond War, that actually started in Liberia and spilled over the border. But it wasn't quite the same as the government of Liberia saying, oh, we want half of Sierra Leone. So this is quite a dramatic thing to have happened, just in general. We can't just look at this as just another war, just another conflict. It's not. It really is something else. And for it to happen on our doorstep in the UK, in Europe, is sickening. You could argue, I guess, that Serbia went into Bosnia. However, that was the breakdown of the Yugoslavian Republic. So, yeah, it was kind of like a civil conflict more than anything else. You could also argue that for Chechnya. This was an independent state. It is an independent state. A state that's been independent now for 20 years, 30 years. Oh, God, I'm old. 30 years, an independent state. And Russia's like, no, you aren't allowed to have self-determination. We're going to take that. It's well and truly taken that from it. It's like you've managed to succumb to every piece of propaganda going, okay. We've got one. It always happens, doesn't it? Yeah, mate. I've got a degree in politics, and I've been to every country in the world, every single country in the world. But you have never done anything in your life, and never got off your fat arse, and still probably live with your mum. And yeah, you've got all the answers. You've got no qualifications in the stuff that you know stuff about, and you have no experience in the stuff that you pretend to know stuff about. But yeah, I'm sure you know what's really going on. Bless. Oh my God! People say I'm arrogant. I mean, that's off the charts, isn't it? You've got to have some incredible level of arrogance to go. I'll see that guy who's obviously, you know, well read and has obviously been out and seen the world for himself. He doesn't know it. He doesn't have a clue. What he wants to do is read, I don't know, random websites and watch YouTube videos and look at my racist uncle's Facebook posts, and then he'll know what's really going on. Oh, it's pathetic. It's quite cute though, so thank you very much for that contribution to the show. I'm going to Ukraine to drop off supplies for the refugees who are streaming out of Ukraine because of the war that's going on. Some people might think there's no war going on. I've seen footage on mobile phones. There's a war going on. It's horrific. There are stacks of dead bodies in the cities in the east. Stacks of them. The Russians are now cremating them to get rid of the evidence because of what happened when they pulled out of Kyiv, which is the areas around Kyiv, which they're saying they didn't do. It was staged. It was staged by the Ukrainians. Why would the Ukrainians do that? One, again, motivation, none. Oh, they just want to make us look bad. You already look bad, Vlad. Jesus Christ, you invaded your neighbor. Oh my God. No, it's a conspiracy. It's all special effect. This is coming from the Kremlin. This is coming from Vladimir Putin, a man who appeared in a video virtually with some flight attendants who he didn't actually want to be that close to. So they inserted him digitally with the kind of special effects that you might expect in the movie The Room. Yeah, that level of quality. His hand famously going through the microphone, that wasn't actually there. It was even composited through green screen technology. Very crap green screen technology. Fox News says, Duke Vengeance, yeah, Fox News. The newscaster in America that seems to be more pro-Putin than it is pro-American. Now, I am old enough. I'm not. I was going to say, I'm old enough to remember when, well, no, I am. I'm old enough to remember when sticking up for the Russians against your own country was seen as treason. Yeah, I remember. Does anyone else remember that? No? Yeah, I do. Indeed. Right. Ooh, there's a text coming up. Where am I? No, I'm still in Brussels. Not Brussels. Still in Belgium. Okay. Oh, hang on. 1 kilometre, 1 off lane. Okay. Junction 17. So I'm going to have to concentrate on driving for a moment. You talk amongst yourselves. You conspiracy theory amongst yourselves if you want. Okay. Okay, right, I'm on this for 13 kilometers now. Oh, marvelous. Graham, you're not arrogant. You're just marvelous. I am a bit arrogant. I don't care, I've got something to be arrogant about. I've got 2 world records. 2 proper official Guinness World Records that nobody else in the world has ever achieved. They might do one day, but not today. Church over there. Impressive. It's a big dome church wherever I'm here. Don't know where I am. Signage isn't good. Motorways are notorious for telling you where you're going, but they're not great at telling you where you are. That was Google. Overtaken by an ambulance. Slow down, let it pass. Duke saying, "Better leave my basement, but at least I'm not an arrogant moron." Well, yeah. I mean, it's interesting though, isn't it? Like, I like watching videos from experts, like people who actually know and have studied what they're talking about or have experience, first-hand experience of it. But what my ability is to take, or one of my abilities, is to take a lot of information and put it all together. So the world's just like a big jigsaw puzzle, a massive jigsaw puzzle of history, geography, geopolitics, politics, and it all fits together just about in an understandable way. But it is very big, and obviously there's a lot of moving parts to it. What I've got in my head is the connections between every country in the world. Name me a country, I can tell you all about it. I can tell you what religion they are, guess the population. I can tell you what kind of government they have, who their colonial power that once lorded it over them was, where the name of the country comes from, all that kind of stuff. And it matters. I mean, it affects how we interact with the rest of the world. And knowing about the world actually changes your perspective a lot. And I do have a bit of a unique perspective in having visited these places. I didn't just go there. I didn't just go and have a cup of tea and then leave. I made a point of learning something about every country I went to, not just the listicle stuff like the capital, the city, and all that jazz, but actually get to know a little bit of the culture of the place, what makes it tick. And so far, no other human being on the planet has quite the same experience as me, as far as that's concerned, because they haven't done what I've done. They may have been to every country in the world. They certainly haven't done it not. Certainly haven't done it not flying. A lot of people said it was impossible. I love it when people tell me things are impossible. It just makes me more determined. Where are you now, Graham? I am hopefully just to the south of Brussels. That's where I think I am. But I'm not legally allowed to touch my phone. If it looked like I was touching my phone just a minute ago, I wasn't. I was touching my phone holder, which I think is still legal, to adjust it a little bit because obviously we've got the sun coming in through the window and I'm silhouetted like I'm giving evidence in a panorama documentary. Maybe I should like modulate my voice. Sounds a bit like Bane then. Hello, I'm Bane. I've got a goatee for a face. And I talk like Jimmy Stewart. In a mask. Jimmy Stewart with a mask. Yes, Batman. What the hell? What was Tom Hardy going for there? Right, what does this really big, muscly guy sound like? Should he sound like really gruff? Should he sound like, should he sound like Darth Vader? Should he sound like James Earl Jones? No. Oh, bloody hell. It's close. Should he sound like James Earl Jones? No. Let's have him sound like Jimmy Stewart with a lisp. Jimmy Stewart in a coronavirus mask. Weird. Whoa, we're slowing down dramatically. We're hitting a traffic jam, ladies and gentlemen. We were quite lucky on the way to Ukraine a couple of weeks ago when I was with Bear. So we didn't hit that many traffic jams. Good. But on that day, we went on we left Liverpool on the. Well, I left Liverpool. I left the UK on the Saturday. You can read the blogs about it if you like. But I left on the Saturday, and we started our journey from Calais on the Sunday. So the roads were a little bit more empty. Like it's a good day to travel is Sunday, because in a lot of European countries, I know France definitely has this rule. Countries must have it as well. HGVs are not allowed to drive between the hours of something like 10 o'clock on Saturday night till 10 o'clock on Sunday night. So you have this sort of 24-hour gap when HGVs are not allowed on the road unless they are delivering fuel or food. So everything else has to wait till Monday Sunday night late to actually get on the road again. And it's great. It clears the roads for the day. And also, you don't want Sunday drivers on a road where there's lots of trucks and things. It's never a good thing. So I'm slowing right down now. I'm going at 56 kilometers an hour. Oh, I'm going past the TPD Logistics warehouse. Delivery firm. Like to knock on wood. You know, as kids, when you were little, you used to think it was hilarious to knock on people's doors and run away. Yeah, that was all of us, wasn't it? They grew up to be couriers and drivers. they grew up to work for Amazon. Actually, Amazon's pretty good for dropping stuff off, but other courier companies. Jesus. Well, I gave you're waiting for a parcel to arrive, and you're just waiting and waiting and waiting, and then you think, oh, I can't hold it anymore. I've got to go to the loo. As soon as you go to the toilet, ding dong. They're watching you. It's like, how do birds know that you've just watched The Birds? You know, Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds. How do birds know that you've just seen that? I've just realised that my visor, my sun visor, there's a thing around here, and that might help with the light, was actually knocking against my microphone, so there might have been a tapping noise. I hope that's gone now. Listen, any inconvenience on the sound, just let me know in the comments if you can. And I'll try and get to you and say, yes, I understand. I understand. So I'm going over the Viaduct Zachanor. Viaduct Zachanor, I think. So I think I'm pretty close to Brussels. Ooh, I can see my house from here. Up on the viaduct. So just, like I say, just taking it easy today. I'm not in a mad rush. It's one of the good, look, there's some bad things about traveling alone. Obviously, you don't have a co-pilot to shout, look out. You don't have someone else to look after your stuff when you leave the van. You don't have obviously someone to talk to, or you can talk to yourself on YouTube if you like. But traveling on your own, it does mean that you get to set your own agenda. You don't feel so rushed to get. If you've got someone else that you're responsible for, getting back to work or getting back to their family or whatever it might be, then you don't feel quite as rushed if it's you. Also, and this is the big thing that I realized when I was traveling, I've traveled a lot on my own, obviously. I've traveled to every country in the world on my own. With help, with lots of help from family and friends, lovely people who just wanted to help. Hang on a sec, there's loads of surface spray. I'm going to have to concentrate for a moment. Got a wet road. Got a wet road, really sunny. So any silver or white cars just disappearing like ghosts into the mists. But yeah, driving on your own or traveling on your own, the really, really good thing about it is if you muck up, there's nobody there to point at you and say, you mucked up. So if you walk 5 kilometers in the wrong direction looking for a hotel, you got no one saying, oh, just walk 5 kilometers. It's only your inner monologue that you've got to worry about, your inner critic saying, oh, you dickhead. What are you doing? Why did you walk 5 kilometers in the wrong direction to find a hotel that didn't exist? And you don't have anyone else to bring you up on that, which is nice. So, solo travel, there are things to say. There are some good things about it. And also, it's cheaper. So, for instance, if I'm traveling with a co-pilot on these trips to Ukraine, obviously there are going to be a couple of nights that we have to stay in hotels, and I don't fancy sharing a hotel room. Well, they might not fancy sharing a hotel. To be honest with you, all things being equal, as you discovered last night, I'm happy to sleep in the van. I'm happy to sleep here and then just start driving the next day. I can do that. I will do that. But it's a bit unfair demanding that of somebody else, especially as I probably snore, so that's not optimal. Stop saying things are not optimal, Graham. I've got this vocal tick at the moment saying things are not optimal in this sort of patronising kind of way. It's not optimal. Tap on the head. But yeah, nevertheless. Oh, I hope I'm on the right road. It's very confusing. There's like 4 roads going on at the moment, all different directions. I feel like I'm at Spaghetti Junction. So yeah, you've got the cost comes down. Obviously, you're buying half the food, half the accommodation, and it's one of those things. Like, it's okay for me to go and crash on a mate to sleep on the couch, but if I bring somebody else along and I'm like, hey, you don't know this person, can they stay at yours? It's a bit cheeky. I don't mind being a bit cheeky when it's me, but I don't like putting people into positions where they don't feel like they can say no, but it is a bit of an inconvenience. Anyway. So, concentrating again. Okay, coming off the motorway here. Well, I'm changing motorways, I think. So I'm just going to concentrate on this for a moment. Again, you may talk amongst yourselves. Then when I get back on, I'll wax lyrical about traveling on your own again. The jokes of traveling on your own. Another thing about traveling on your own. No, wait till I finish maneuvering. Right, I am on the E40, which I think turns into the 4, going through Germany, and then it becomes the A4, I think, going through Poland. This is the long road. This is the road that goes all the way, pretty much, to Medyka on the border with Ukraine. Okay, we've got some road works here, so it's down to 50 kilometers an hour, which is fine. Slipping a little bit. The time is now saying 4 minutes past 9. I'm alive at my friend Marina's place. Better to rough it while you have a good van to sleep in. Oh yeah. That's the thing, like sleeping myself in a van, that's fine, but like having someone else with you and keeping them awake because you're snoring or they can't get comfortable, it's not easy sleeping in a van. It's a bit tricky. Also, this is perfect because if I'm annoying you or you don't like my jokes or whatever, you can just turn the live feed off. Nothing to worry about. But if you're trapped in a car with me, several hundred kilometers, there's no escape. There is no escape from my crap jokes. Duke Vengeance. Duke, a load of my mates, or the people that I know, have said that they've felt ill, really ill, like really under the weather, and yet all the COVID tests have come up negative. And this happened to me, I think in February, I think it was. I just had a week where I just felt absolutely dog rough, like really, really rough. Rougher than I did when I actually did have COVID. And I took a test every day, and it always came up negative. And I think it's basically because we haven't been mixing as much and we've all been wearing masks. When you do get a cold, essentially, which is a type of coronavirus, it's flooring people. It's absolutely flooring people. That's what I think is happening. I might be wrong. I've been wrong before. Once. One time ago. 1993, I think. Anyways. Right. It is currently just gone 2 o'clock. I'm on the E40 road, just bypassing Brussels, as is the name of the video that you are watching. I will arrive at my destination in 7 hours and 3 minutes if I don't stop, but I am going to stop, obviously, because it's dangerous to drive for more than 3 hours without taking a break. So I'm going to have a couple of breaks. Got some coffees. Not that hungry. Not that hungry. That's good. Catherine gave me a bag. She gave me a bag of snacks. All healthy snacks as well. Well, some food hoops in there, but mostly healthy snacks. Bananas in there, grapes. Got those cereal bars that you get, granola bars. Some good stuff. About 5/8 full on the petrol. So I do have to remember when I get into the Netherlands to get a load of fuel. If it's under €2 for a litre, then it's going to be better than Germany. One of the other good things about traveling on your own as well is you can listen to your own music at the loudness that you wish to listen to it. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, if you travel alone, you don't have to compromise as much as you do when you're traveling with someone else. And also, here's something else. I mean, this is not to do with going to Ukraine, obviously, but when you're backpacking with a friend or a lover, or your husband or wife or whatever, or children, there is an element of compromise, and this goes into doing things that you want to do, and you might end up going to do something that you've always wanted to do. You know, X, Y, Z. Always wanted to see this. Always wanted to climb that. Always wanted to go here. Always want to experience this. And the person that you're with, there's always a chance that they may have a really bad time. Because travel is so subjective. I met a couple who wrote an award-winning travel blog when I was in New Zealand. We met up in Auckland for drinks. Yeah, just talking about travel and stuff. And a really nice couple. And they asked me where my favourite places were. And I said, well, one of them is Bolivia. I absolutely love Bolivia. It's mental. And to which they responded, oh my God, we hate Bolivia with a passion. And I'm like, why? What happened to you in Bolivia? And they said, well, first of all, we were traveling together as a couple, and we had a guy who tagged along for a bit. It was all right for the first few days, but then it was like we wanted to do our own thing, and this guy like just wouldn't take the hint that we didn't necessarily want to be doing stuff with him. And obviously, being New Zealanders, I'm probably a bit too polite to tell him to F off. And then when they got to, so they'd already been traveling through Peru, which had been all right, and then they got to Bolivia, and so they had this guy that and sort of outstayed his welcome, a travel buddy, and they had their passport stolen. Like on the first day they were there, they had their passport stolen, and they had to wait in La Paz, capital, get a temporary New Zealand passport, and they just left. As soon as they got their temporary passports, they just left. That was their experience of Bolivia. They went with someone they didn't want to go with, and they lost, and they had their passport stolen, and they were like, "Screw this! This place sucks." I've got to stay on this road for 95 kilometers. That's a bit easy, isn't it? So that's not what I have to do next. No more maneuverings. So we've both gone to the same country, different times, obviously, but I come away with two very, very, very different experiences. My experience of Bolivia was incredible. It was nuts. I went to the Salar de Uyuni, this amazing salt flat where they have the world's largest lithium mine, I think, or lithium. It's not a mine. It's kind of on the surface. These massive, massive salt flats up in the Andes, and I was really lucky that there had been a bit of rain, and then it had been really sunny, and therefore there was like an inch of water lying on top of the not even an inch, sort of a centimetre of water on the salt flats, as far as the eye could see. So that the ground looked like a mirror. The ground looked like a perfect mirror of the sky. It was mind-bending. It was amazing. Went to the train graveyard nearby, which is where it looks like a load of old steam engines just trundled out into the middle of the desert to die. So I went there and we jumped on trains, climbed on trains to me and Indiana Jones bit. And then I went to Potosi, which is where the big silver mine is in the east of the country. And Potosi, it's a very, very high city. I think it's over 4,000 meters, I think, above sea level. You have a silver mine there in the mountain. We've been mining in this mine for 400 years or something. It's absolutely crazy like that. And in that time, they reckon 1 million people have died in this bloody mine because it's so dangerous. And so, of course, it's a tourist attraction. And you can go down there, and they're still working. They're still blowing stuff up, literally blowing stuff up with dynamite while tourists are down in this mine. Health and safety be damned. There's literal, like, holes that just drop for, 100 meters drop in the ground. The ceiling is never high enough to stand upright, so you've got to be hunched over the whole time. I've never been so pleased to see daylight. We were down there for a couple of hours, drank some pure alcohol for some reason, gave an offering to the mine devils, these little effigies of the devil that live in the mines. And then we left, and I went to the miner's shop, bought some dynamite. Literally bought some dynamite, like Wile E. Coyote. Bolivia, ladies and gentlemen, the place where you can buy dynamite over the counter in the local shop. You're like, can I have a copy of the Liverpool Echo and a stick of dynamite, please? And I'm like, yep, sure, here you go. Stick of dynamite. Which I confused with that, so it looks even more like something from Looney Tunes cartoon. Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great. Sorry about the noise at the moment. We're getting hailstones or sleet or something, so that's what noises. And then I went to La Paz, the capital, where I got kidnapped. That was fun, but I managed to escape. And then I went to the prison. I went to not in the way I went to some African jails, but this one I went to San Pedro prison, which is in the centre of La Paz. Oh, there's two cars about to nudge into each other. Might want to press the brakes, mate. Slowing right down. We're slowing right down because it's snowing. Anyway, so went to this prison where the prisoners run the show. San Pedro prison, an amazing place where basically you get to go into the prison and look around. It's just amazing. I got shown around by a German guy. Sorry, lost signal there. I got shown around by a German guy called Hans. He was in drug smuggling. Everyone was in drug smuggling. When I came in, there was a kids footy team having a five-a-side match in the recreation yard in the middle. And apparently the cons could just walk out if they wanted to. There's only two guards. But they ran the jail themselves. Just give the money to some. Give the money to the guards. Say, right, I'm going out for the weekend. All right, then. Make sure you're back here on Monday morning. Like, all right, then. We'll go out for the weekend and come back. When you first got to the prison, you wouldn't have a cell. You had to buy your own cell. So you just sleep on the floor in the gymnasium. True story. And if you were a drug dealer, you'll probably have quite an easy time there. If you were a sex offender, you would not have such an easy time there. There were people living crap out of you when you arrived. Which, understandable, I guess. Anyway, oh my god. This weather is quite treacherous. I'll tell you more about Bolivia in a moment. I'm just going to concentrate, okay? You can barely see out the window at the moment. It's sleeting so much. And I haven't had any new comments or anything, so I might have lost some. Oh, that's something that will happen when I hit the Netherlands. I'll lose signal. So I'll just say bye when I hit the border. I'll just say bye bye, and then just let the signal collapse. Because obviously it needs to find a new provider, and that takes between 10 minutes and half an hour. So when I get over the border into the Netherlands, I'll stop. I'll reset my phone. I will get some to eat and refuel. That's the plan. Unless I'm already in the Netherlands and I missed it. You never know. All right, settle down a bit now. It's a bit mad before. Quite slow. says Duke Vengeance. True indeed, my friend. True indeed. So then, yeah, I was just talking about Bolivia and San Pedro prison. Wow. I don't know if you can still actually get a guided tour from one of the convicts these days. This is 20 years ago. God, it was fun. It was fun 20 years ago. 20 years ago today. Anyway, so moving swiftly on. I headed down to the Amazon Basin, so right down from the mountains to the Amazon Basin, to one of the tributaries of the Amazon called the Rio Beni, B-E-N-I. And on the way down there, I went down the Road of Death, the famous Bolivian Road of Death, the Camino de la Muerte, or something, del Muerte. And yes, it was terrifying. It was absolutely terrifying. I was on a bus, and the idea is, I think that things are supposed to go down in the morning and up in the afternoon, so things don't cross over each other. But there's always some idiot that wants to come up in the morning, and everyone has to go around them. And yeah, there were a few very hairy moments where we were literally inches from the edge of a road that was literally made of mud, let's face it, on the edge of a cliff with a 200-foot precipice off to the side of us. And I'm sort of looking out the window, like filming out with the camera, like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm doing this. Then I spent a week or so down in the Amazon Basin. I went to see the pampas, so I found an anaconda, wrestled a crocodile, went fishing for piranhas, swam with piranhas. They don't eat you unless you're dead, really, so you just kind of nibble at your legs. It's quite nice, actually. I saw some pink dolphins. Got some footage of some pink dolphins on my video camera. I was really proud of. And then years and years later, I was watching a David Attenborough documentary, and he talked about these pink dolphins in the Amazon Basin, freshwater dolphins. He said no one's ever got footage of these, and it's just so hard to get footage of. And I'm like, I got footage of them. And I didn't have to use a drone either. Anyway, so then I had to go back up the Road of Death, but nah. So instead, I got a plane, which was operated by the Bolivian army. So the air stewardesses were in army fatigues. I didn't smile. Loved it. Got back up to La Paz, and then I headed over to Lake Titicaca, which travels the border between Bolivia and Peru. Went to the island of the moon and the island of the sun. That's quite cool. We went out on Lake Titicaca, the world's highest navigable lake. And the water was so choppy that we had to turn around and come back because so many tourists were like chucking up their cookies. But I stayed on. Went back out again. I went to the afternoon. Tell you a funny story. So I'm on this island in the middle of Lake Titicaca called the Isla del Sol, the island of the sun. And there's these old Inca ruins and stuff. And I'm walking along, and I get talking to these two rather attractive young ladies. Oh my God, I sound completely like Swiss Tony here from Fact Show. At the time, I was 23 years old. Like I say, it was a long time ago. And they're probably the same age as me. And I'm chatting away. They were from Rhode Island in America. Are you from Rhode Island? I said, the capital of that is Providence. I said, do you know the capital of Rhode Island? Yes, lots of things. And they said, what are you doing traveling? And I said, well, I used to give blowjobs around the back of the law courts for crack. But then I kicked my crack addiction and had all this money left over. And I thought, why not go traveling? And they went, oh, right, okay. I said, well, what are you doing? They said, we're training to be nuns. Oh, God. Of all the people to make a joke about giving blowjobs for crack to, making it to nuns. Oh, yeah. So that's the kind of, you know, putting my foot in it that I like to partake in from time to time. Anyway, so that was my experience of Bolivia, and it was brilliant. The land that health and safety forgot. and I just had a brilliant time, absolutely brilliant time, and I didn't die, which is good. Came close a few times, but yeah. So travel is very subjective. So if you're traveling with somebody else and you have a great, you really want to do something and they hate it, it diminishes the experience for you, which isn't great. Because really happy because when I'm traveling, when I go and see something amazing, I kind of want someone with me to say, "Oh, that's amazing." I feel like an experience shared with somebody else has more validity. I don't know. It just, you know, that bit at the end of Lord of the Rings when the Hobbit is up in the pub and they're looking around, everyone's just, you know, in the pub like nothing's happened. And the four of these little hobbits have gone through this mad experience. They've gone through these three movies, three books, and they've got this shared experience, shared lived experience, and they just kind of like give it toast, cheers to each other, in the knowledge that there's an unspoken bond between these people, between these hobbits. And then Rosie turns up, and Sam's like, "Oh, Rosie." And Frodo's like, "Oh, Sam, I thought you already had eyes for me." Anyway, that's another story. But yeah, I felt like after I finished the Odd Expedition, I didn't have anyone to do that with. Obviously, I'd written a blog, and I'd done a TV show, and I filmed everything, and posted about it as I did it. But I didn't really have that experience of doing it with somebody else. So then we could meet in a pub years later. We could just be, remember when? That was form of conversation. But not having to talk about it necessarily, just having that shared experience would have enriched it. I think that it's not about validity, it's about enriching the experience. But there's a flip side of that, which is if there's something that you've always wanted to do, and you go with someone who just hates it and just complains all the time and is not having a good time, you feel terrible. And you feel terrible for lots of reasons. One of which is like, you didn't have a good time because the other person kind of made it so you didn't have a good time. But another thing is that because they didn't have a good time, you feel bad. You know, like when you go to see a movie and you're like, "Oh, mate, come and see this movie with me. I think it's going to be really good." And then you watch the movie and it's terrible. And then you feel bad because you've made your friend or your partner or whoever sit through this movie that you thought was good. Or even worse, when there's a movie that you really love and you know that it's a good movie and you absolutely love it and you're watching it with someone and they're like, "This is crap." And you just feel that inside you, like, "Oh my God," start questioning everything. So, yeah, traveling with somebody else, always a bit of a two-edged sword. It's more expensive. Obviously, they'll point out if you make mistakes. Obviously, if they don't have the same ideas about what they want to do in the journey, it can cause tension. But having said that, given the choice between traveling solo or traveling with somebody else, I'd always come for traveling with someone else, all things being equal. However, traveling in a three, don't do it. My number one rule of travel: don't travel in a three. End of. Just don't do it. It is the worst number to travel with. Travel on your own, travel with two people, travel with four people, travel with five people, six, seven might be too many, but whatever. Traveling, actually, no, there is an upper number on this because if you have too many people, over 8 people traveling together, you can never make a decision. That's a big problem. Unless you designate someone a leader for the day, it's the best way to do it. Say, right, this person's the leader for that day, they're going to decide what we're doing that day. And then there's no debate, they just go and do it. If you have too many people saying, "Oh, I want to do this, I want to go see that," it becomes a bit difficult. But the point is, if you're in any other number other than a three, you can break off and do your own thing. Well, two, obviously. That's bad. If you are in a three, if there's something that two of the people want to do, one of the people doesn't want to do, it's going to ruin the day for everyone. It's going to ruin the trip for everyone. Just don't do it. It's too risky. Never travel in the three. My top travel tip of all time: no threesomes. "I'm off to strangle my family," says Duke Vengeance. Oh. Well, yeah. I hope you're not really going to do that, Duke, because then I get in trouble for encouraging it. But from what you've told us in the past about your family's attitude towards things, I can see how you feel that way. But you know, violence isn't the answer. And vengeance is a dish best served cold. As you well know, Duke, my friend, there's other ways of getting people back. Hoisting them by their own petard. I looked up the meaning of that phrase and I never knew what it meant. Was it like a petard? Was that like an old word for flag or something? You got hoisted by it, which meant you got hung by, you got hanged by your own flag. Is that what it meant? No, no. A petard is no word for a bomb. Old word for a bomb. And to be hoisted by it means to be blown up by your own bomb. So the idea is you've made yourself a bomb, and while you were making it, it's blown up. That's where the origin of the expression hoisted by your own petard comes from. Nothing to do with flags. I'm out of 7-Up. Quick, send super chats. Buy more 7-Up. All right, we have an area. Ah, shit. Okay. I have news. I have great and terrible news. I'm not going through the Netherlands. Actually going under the little bit that dangles off the bottom of the Netherlands. We're going under the Netherlands' nether region. I can do this all day. We're going under the Netherlands dangly bit on the map, so I'm going straight into Germany from Belgium, so I'll be going through German-speaking Belgium. People think that Belgium speaks 2 languages, Flemish and French. No! Significant. No, we actually speak 3 languages. German is an official language of Belgium as well. German-speaking areas. And I'd like to say, das ist gut, ja. That is very good. So, I will stop. I'll stop before I get to Germany. I will stop in the name of love before you break my heart. An accidental partridge there. Yes. Silence is the best way to go, Duke. Yeah, I agree with that. I wish your names didn't come up in dark blue against the dark background. When it's really bright outside, it makes it really hard to read your names. Only 24 hours till So, yeah. So what I'll do is I'll pull over before we get to Germany. I'll stop and have a bit of a break. You can have a break from me. And then I'll drive into Germany for a bit. Obviously, if I start my stream again, when I cross the border into Germany, it'll go off because my SIM card will find a new provider to provide me with internet. So, that being the case, we will. I'll wait till I get to Germany and I'll drive for a bit. I'll listen to some music. You can go watch the Grand National or whatever you're doing this afternoon, and then I'll come back to you. I will return. Once again in German. So I'll pass Brussels now. Well, truly. Going past Jandarik Logistics. This lorry that I'm about to overtake. Yeah. Jandarik. Maybe Jandarik. I don't know. I don't know how things are pronounced in Dutch. Sorry for the traffic in Belgium, says Just Me in Videos. Honestly, don't apologise. It's been great. The road's pretty much empty at the moment. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. So I'm seeing a sign for Lincent. Lincent's that name of a place? Or does that mean rest stop? So it's something that you do in Wales, isn't it? You see a sign saying, oh, let's go there. And it turns out to be the Welsh for services. No, it's really a place. It's a real place called Lincent. And I'm heading towards Liège. And there are some wind turbines on the horizon. Yeah, we need more wind turbines, thousands and thousands of wind turbines. Wind turbines as far as the eye can see. Let's just do it. Oh, there's a place called Hoy Hannet on the N64. So I'm crossing the N64, people. If anyone's paying attention, I'm on the E40 and I'm crossing the N64, as in the Nintendo 64. Oh, there's glorious days spent playing Golden. This morning I passed a truck transporting a crane. Exciting stuff. Crane hook was dragging on the road. Can't be good. We're coming to a place called London, which is how people from London say London. London! London! Okay, we're in the province of Brabant now. Well done. Oh wow, I'm on the border of Flanders to my left and Wallonia on my right. True story, the E40 runs down the border between Flanders and Wallonia. It's pretty cool, that. Straddling the border. Oh, I like the word straddle. The sparks while it was dragging was the sight to see. Yeah, I can imagine. A bit better than a cigarette firework on the street, you know, when someone throws a cigarette out of the car and it bounces on the road. The little firework, little cigarette firework there for you. Wish you could flick the camera around so you can see the majestic wind turbines turning in the distance. Can't touch my camera. Oh. That's another good thing about traveling with someone. I can be in passenger seat and I can operate my camera properly. I don't have to drive and be camera off at the same time. Driving, navigator, camera off, sound technician, presenter, director, scriptwriter, cruel, brigand, ne'er-do-well, mercenary. Ah, the dog. So I'm crossing the border near Action. So yeah, which is in Germany. So it's very, very close to the border of the tri-border point between Belgium, Germany, and the Netherlands. So I'll be going very close to there. I'm gonna get past Liège first, so I'll be bypassing Liège on the way. Maybe if I've got some time on the way back, I might stop in Bruges because we go quite close to Bruges. Well, we went quite close to Bruges last time. Might be nice to go check that out. I don't think I'll have time. You never know. Yeah, so I'll get fuel. I'm nearly down to halfway on the fuel. I'll get fuel when I am halfway between Liège and the border. We're in the province of Liège. Bienvenue. Welcome. Welcome. Over to my left are the gnarliest storm clouds. Like they're just, it looks like Mordor to the left of me. To my right is undiluted sunshine. Is this how the Wallonia Flanders split works? That's how it works. I don't know. You get all the good weather. We get shit weather. What is wrong with you? Here's something. You know the Canadian-European Trade Agreement, CETA? They got held up by the farmers of Wallonia because they've got their own parliament. Wallonia's got its own parliament. And every one of the European parliaments, the devolved parliaments of certain countries, don't think included Scotland. But they all had to sign off on it as well. And Wallonia famously said, no, we're not happy about a particular thing about agriculture. They wouldn't sign off on it, so they had to renegotiate the CETA agreement to get it to where they wanted it to be. Okay, that's fair enough. That's how things work. So we're shaking them out a bit. This is a bit of a bumpy road. Then Britain went to photocopy the CETA agreement, Xed out where it said EU and changed it to UK. Pretty much went ahead in the same agreement. And they did that with a few trade treaties. Now, the thing is with trade treaties, is they take years to negotiate, years of compromise, years of work. Years of hard work that someone's got to pay for. I can't help but feel like, shouldn't Britain get done for copyright infringement? You know, if that was a song, and they just went and covered it without any explanation, you know? A bit mad. So they're building shiny new services over there. Right, where am I? Like, we are 6.5 hours away now from Vorheitstrauss. The name of the place has got that little B symbol, which is a double S in German. Absolutely teeming down with rain over to the left. See the rain coming down in cascades. Right, it's inexplicably sunny. Take that, coastal areas. Considering Belgium's one of the smallest countries in Europe, it's just gone on for a long time. Been live now for an hour and 40 minutes since we last stopped. I last stopped to reset the stream. We are 21 kilometers from Liège. Let's get my foot down. We'll do that in 10 minutes. It's sunny in Liverpool. Yay! It's always good to know. Sorry the pitch is shaking so much at the moment. It's just it's a bit of a rough road. It's not as silky smooth as I would like. But yeah, just going back to the whole sort of having to travel on my own this time. I mean, I should have been able to bring Bear, but I thought about me bringing 6 people, so I got insurance for myself. To be honest with you, if I had to pay for Bear's insurance together with my insurance and the recovery cost, it would have cost more than hiring the van a couple of weeks ago. I don't know. So yeah, the more money we save on these journeys, the more journeys we can do. The more money we raise on these journeys, the more journeys we can do. Well, I really like the idea of being able to give to something and actually see what you're paying, see where your money's going. Here it is. It's literally what your money's being spent on. Actually, my friends, I've got something for you to do. Could someone get online and check on the price comparison website to see where unleaded 95 fuel is fair? Is it cheaper in the Netherlands or is it cheaper in Germany? Please find out for me and put it in the comments. Right, petrol is cheaper in Germany or petrol is cheaper in the Netherlands. Because that will dictate where I get petrol next. Should I get it before I get to Germany or should I get it in Germany? And the 2 options. No, sorry, Belgium, not the Netherlands. Belgium. Is it cheaper in Belgium? Shit. Is it cheaper in Belgium? I forgot what country I'm in. Is it cheaper in Belgium or is it cheaper in Germany? Please let me know in the comments. Please don't apply in front of me going really slowly. Really annoying. I'm going to suss out a way of making my camper a little less shaky when I'm on uneven roads. Oh, that works. Put a bottle underneath it. Oh, that hasn't really worked. Hasn't done anything. Oh, well. It was a good idea until it wasn't. See, now I'm on a smooth road. It's fine. Except my head is in the middle of the frame, which is annoying. Oh, it's making me make decisions about luge. Fuel tax is lower in Belgium. Okay, thanks for just me in videos. I will refuel here. See how far I can get through Germany. I'll have 600 kilometers to go through Germany. See how far my tank of fuel gets me. Oh, my mum's saying if I get a chance to pick a horse for the Grand National. Okay. What, 10 on? I think I won last year. I won like, I don't know, 30 quid. Yes. Not touching my phone. Not touching my phone. Not touching my phone. Oh no. Ah, shit. That's problematic. Oops. see that, right? I just touched the cable. I just put it back in place using the cable. Petrol same in Germany and petrol. Diesel is more in Belgium, but I'm using petrol for that. Is my sound still alright, or has my sound gone all funny now that I stupidly knocked my phone off? But sound good. Okay, good. I've just got to concentrate for a little bit because the road's got quite busy because I am near Liège now, so obviously there's a lot more traffic than there was before. So I've just got to be a little bit more aware of what everyone's doing around me. Can't make it on camera. Yeah, I will be stopping soon. Sorry if that was a big loud noise on the microphone there. I've got the microphone attached to the hook for the subvisor, which I'm hoping is giving me good sound. Seems alright so far. Okay. So I am passing Liège now. See out the window there. Let's see. Just see if I had a crash. I see that. Now we're on the road to Aachen, Maastricht, and Lviv. I think it's really crap that in Belgium and in Germany you have to pay to use the toilet in the service stations. And that's really crap. You go in there to buy fuel, you spend loads of money, and they make you pay to go to the loo. So if I would take this Suzuki here, this red one that you'll see going past at the moment, it's going along the motorway at like 40 miles an hour, and all its back smashed in. You're like, I wonder why someone ran into the back of you. Actually driving at 40 miles an hour. Still there. Oh. Damn it. Sorry, my phone fell off again because I went over a bump. Oh, now the sun's coming out again. That's not actually doing anything, is it? Yeah, I'm gonna have to stop soon. Well, I'm not that hungry. I don't really need the toilet, but I'm gonna stop because I want to stop the feed. I want to do some messages. I'll put a picture up on Instagram, I guess, wherever the hell I am. And then, yeah, I will try for probably. Oh, I'll have a look at the national. I'll look on courses of money. A few names, maybe a couple of names, and then yeah, I'll be offline for probably about an hour or so. I'll go to Germany, drive a bit to Germany, and then when I feel like fancy a bit of a break, I'll stop and get the live feed going again. Hope that's okay with you. It's 2:55 here in Germany. Sorry, in Belgium. Don't get ahead of yourself, Graham. Not in Germany yet. But yeah, I've only had a coffee and a pan of chocolate today, so I probably should get some lunch. Guess it's just coming up to 2 o'clock in the UK at the moment, which is fine. Going up a hill. Yeah, I'm willing to go the van to go into a higher gear. Come on, up the hill, up the hill. Okay, the traffic has eased off, as you can see. I've just been overtaken. I thought it was a Mini. Suzuki Swift. There was a Suzuki Swift lane. Yeah, I was saying, I don't need to learn. I'm not that hungry, and I've got half a tank of fuel left. However, quite thirsty. Quite thirsty at the moment. So there is a Shell here. Should pull over. 43 kilometers next. Actually, all right, I'm going to risk it. It's 43 kilometers to the border. I'm going to assume there's another service station between here and the border. I might be wrong, and I might end up going into Germany, losing the feed and everything. But Shell service station here, but like I say, it's 40 kilometers to the border. It's 40 kilometers. There must be another. There must be another. This drink pleases me. Another. taxi on the tail. Someone's got into a taxi and said, follow that car, follow that man. Right, so basically the next services that I see, I will be stopping. Hopefully they have a healthy assortment of food. It's not just KFC or McDonald's. Although last night I did get fried rice. It's as healthy as boiled rice, but still healthy as KFC. Oh, thank you for liking my Pikachu t-shirt. Catherine made this for me on my birthday. Pikachu. Hey, David, how do you get Pikachu on a bus? Pokemon. Why should you never get changed in front of a Pokemon? Because they might Pikachu. Tumbleweed. Bells tolling in the distance. Go. Go. There were no survivors from that terrible joke. I'm here all week. Please, try the fish. Now the big question is, what will I hit first? Services or the border with Germany? Hopefully the answer to this question is not another car. Yeah, we're not going to do that. Whoa. Okay, he's going too fast. Oh shit. The road has turned a little bit to the left, and all I can see ahead of me are storm clouds. There may be trouble ahead, while there's moonlight and music and love and romance. Let's face the music and dance. That elevated road there, that viaduct, is it's a rail. It's a railway. It's a real railway. It's a real rail. I lost all my momentum. So I changed lanes with a taxi that was following me. Decided to overtake. Right. I'll struggle up this hill. Come on, Joanna, you can do it. You can do it. TGV Railway. Dude. Exciting stuff. So I've got a heater in the van on blower, and either it's on, it's off, so the air coming through is really cold, or it's on one, like it can turn all the way up, but I'm just moving it to the first like little you can move it to that's not off, and it's really warm. So I'm having to swap between having it off and having it on like the little tiny amount. Oh yeah, told you I was heading towards rain, and rain is coming down. I should have really stopped at the last services. Never mind. Does look like I'm heading into Mordor. Mordor. Wow, it's so sunny this morning. I did look up the weather forecast for this weekend, and it said it's going to rain. Said it was going to rain, man. So here we go. Plan is get to the near the Czech border tonight. Stay over. Get up early in the morning, probably 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning, and then press on to the border with the Dyker. It's about a 10-hour drive. So again, hopefully, if I leave at 8, a couple of rest stops along the way, able to get there maybe 6 or 7 o'clock, maybe before it gets dark. That would be good. The noise you can hear is the rain hitting the windscreen. There is a total right before the border. Just checked on the map. Ah, fantastic. Thanks for that. Vince. I like this. Like having a co-pilot. I'm checking the maps for you, Brian. It's all good. My God, stay to this. I'm asleep, man. Oh. Oh my God. There are literally cars with no lights on. I mean, come on. You've got to be kidding me. Put some bloody lights on. Oh, it was a van. A Peugeot van. The lights on in this weather. Oh my God. I literally could not see him out the back window at all. Put your lights on. I don't know if you can hear me. Oh. So my journey takes me past Action and then past Cologne. I'll be going past Cologne and Bonn, the old capital of the West German Republic. Back in the old days, before the reunification of Germany, when the capital was made into Berlin again. Right, so I'm trusting just me in videos. There will be a total garage just above the border. I'm hoping that it's not so close that I lose my signal. I'm driving it. It is really teaming it down. Oh my god. And yes, there's another car behind me that doesn't have its lights on. And it's a white car. Turn your lights on, you absolute numpty. Lights on. Turn your lights on. No, still not turning his lights on. Well, we're going, we don't need lights, I guess. Literally driving through a blizzard, and this car's just like completely oblivious to the need to be seen on the road while they're driving at 100 kilometers an hour. Unbelievable. But you know, like they say, when you're driving, everyone driving slower than you is an idiot. Anyone driving faster than you is a maniac. Only you, at any one time, are driving at the correct speed, in the correct way. Turn the lights on. I flashed them and they turned the lights on. And that'll be a lesson to you all. Okay. Just on a bit of road here where I'm literally probably about 200 meters away from the car in front and 200 meters away from the car behind me, trusting that they're going to have the headlights on. This is where I like to be in a road. Like literally as far away from every other car as possible. Especially when it's teaming down. Okay, really close to the border now, peeps. Really close to the border. I hope this total's going to turn up. Or it'll be a total waste of time. There you go. 5 kilometers. Wow, they've got cups with knives and forks inside the cups. Road sign. It was a cup, like a teacup with it. Like that. Organ. Knife. In the teacup. Okay, 5K to services. Thanks very much, Just Me and Vince, for pointing that out to me. So what I'm going to do, I might lose signal because I might be so close to the border that my phone decides to honk out. If I do, bye. If I don't get in there, I can say bye. Probably that's great. I'm going to stop for probably half an hour. Go to the loo, get something to eat, have a coffee, do some messages. I've got some people messaging me about connecting with refugees once I'm over there, which I'm very happy to do. So get that done. So if there's anything that anyone watching this, if you need me to do something while I'm in Poland, if there's a connection that you need me to make, or if there's something you need to pick up, give me a shout and we'll see what we can do. I am 1 kilometer from the border with Germany. Also. Oh, there's an Ibis Butchers on the board here. Won't stay there. What's this? T-zone. Yeah. Oh shit. Where's the services? Where's the? Oh, yeah. Phew. I thought that was a joke and there was no services. Yeah, there is a Total Energies. Okay, coming to the services. According to Google, I am crossing the border now. I'm in Germany. I'm in Germany. This is the German side of the border. I don't understand what's going on here. It's a bit of a weird one. Keep right. Keep right. Private. Oh, right. I can't go that way. Shit. Okay, I can't get back to the petrol pumps. The petrol pumps are there, and it says no entry. So I've gone too far. Oh man! You're kidding me? The services are literally straddling the border. I'm probably going to lose signal. If I disappear, I apologise profusely for disappearing. Very rude of me. Driving around, probably going the wrong way. Yeah, I don't think I'm allowed to go that way. Where's this food? Where's this food? Where's this food? Oh man, there is no food. The cake is a lie. The cake is a lie. Oh man, energies. Oh, welcome. Right, so basically there were 2 exits. One of them didn't say that there was fuel or food. And then so I went to the second exit, which said there was food and fuel. And I can't go back. Oh, oh well, listen, I'm going to just knock this on the head. I'm stationary, and I will come back to you in a bit. I'm going to stop at some services in Germany. But because I'm on the border, I'm literally just straddling the border right now. My car, I think this side of the car is in the Netherlands. Sorry, is in Belgium, and this side of the car is in Germany. I think that's the situation at the moment. I'm going to press on and stop in Germany, and then I'll respond to any messages that have been sent to me on WhatsApp and Facebook Messenger and things like that. And then I will press on to. Oh God, this is not ready to move. No, get around. Okay, I will be back with you with another live broadcast, probably in about an hour's time. Okay, so I'll let you know. You can let me know who won the national. All right, see you everyone. Bye. 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 Bye.